here with Officer Kiefer and Mr. Art Hicks. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our community. We're talking today about a very important topic, this idea of marginalization. The idea that people or people groups can kind of be looked at peripheral or less than. So can you tell us, how have you actually seen marginalization actually carried out in our community?
Well, let me start off by saying that we all marginalize other people, whether you know that or not. It's called implicit bias. We all do it. It's something that's been brought on by the way you've been raised, what you've seen in the media, what you've seen through your community, and so we all do it. And I always use the example when I talk to people about this is homeless people. And you talk to 10 different people and you show them pictures of homeless people that they don't know, and you ask them to tell you what they think about that person. You'll hear different things like lazy, alcoholics, drug addicts, things like that. And the reality of that is that there is people that are there for those reasons, but there are a lot of people that are there because of misfortune and things that they can't control. And we tend to look at people like that in a way that's because you've been primed that way. Your mind has been primed that way in society and in growing up. So if you're someone that's looking at someone from a race standpoint and you have been raised to have, maybe you've had a lot of racism in your family or in your community, it's hard for you to let that completely go. You're still going to carry that. Even if you don't believe that overtly, you're still going to carry racist kind of thoughts. I know I'm not a racist, but do I carry that with me? I know that I do. I've admitted to myself that I know that I do because of my upbringing, because of what I've watched in movies and seen on TV and the news and all that stuff. What I've learned in my career is that I've had to accept that I think like that sometimes, and it's how you act on those thoughts and trying to fight through those implicit biases when you look at people. And it's made me a better police officer, because now when I approach people, individuals, I try to understand where they're coming from a little better than what I did before.
It's easy to marginalize if you've never had that experience. And I think we're more likely, as human beings, we're more likely to marginalize people that we don't know, don't understand, or don't relate to. If you've never been homeless, you don't relate to that. But it's not just the homelessness, I think any type of economic deprivation, if you haven't experienced it, it's easy to tag another person, well, why don't they get a job, or why don't they go to school, or whatever the why don't is. I think our society is made up of people that don't share a lot of experiences. If we're not exposed to certain things, we sort of build a fence, create a fear or phobia, whatever it happens to be. I have to take the initiative to become exposed to whatever predetermined ideas I have. And if I don't have that exposure, it's easy to conclude that this person doesn't fit my menu of expectations.
How do we cross the line from, hey, over here in my little world, looking at everybody else's, how do I cross over into the exposure world of understanding another lifestyle, another kind of person, so that I can now tear down these walls of marginalization? What's some tangible ways we can actually do it?
Number one, you have to grow yourself. You have to grow yourself. And number two, I think the slightest thing will make a difference in someone's life. Specifically, it'll make a difference in my life, because it's easier to make the second step if I make the first step. But the first hurdle is, can I grow beyond my own limitation? That's what I have.
The easiest way is to do what we're doing right here. You've got to communicate with people. He's going to be African American no matter what, so I'm not going to go, hey, well, why are you African American?
Pretty sure it's going to stay that way.
It's going to stay that way. But I want to know about Art Hicks. Hey, tell me about yourself. What are you about? What's your life like? And where did you come from? What were your life experiences? Because really, it's about the person, not what got them there, which breaks down those walls. You've got to be willing to look at yourself and accept that you do think a certain way and that it's normal. It's normal, We all do. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's when you don't take that understanding of yourself and make that change in a positive way towards the people that you're marginalizing or that you could be helping to marginalize. That's the harm. Get to know one person. Get to know them on a much deeper level, and that will break down a lot of that other walls for you. You're still going to carry a lot of that around with you, but at least you can say, I now have an understanding. The things that I heard my whole childhood, my whole young adulthood by family, friends, community is not true, because I know this person, and that can't be true anymore.
Also joining us is Officer Nick Varner and Mr. Tony, who works with the youth in our community. So I kind of want to start off just asking the question, this idea of marginalizing people, is this something that's actually real in our community? Have you seen the effects of this? Have you actually seen this play out in our community?
I mean, the short answer is yes. There's marginalization in everything that we do in law enforcement, with the stuff that we do in the community. The key is to understand that it happens, know that you have these thoughts, and then figure out how you can not allow that to directly affect what you're doing.
We're all individuals. We're all different in our own ways. If you haven't went through it, there's no sense of trying to get a meaning out of it. Go to the person and try to put yourself in their shoes. Talk to them. Let them tell you what they going through. The drug dealers on the street. We'll never know what they went through unless you went through it yourself. We can always look at people from the outside and make quick judgment on what this person is. That's not always the case.
I got to learn at a young age that you don't have to actually experience to understand. It's easy, or if you've experienced it, it's sometimes easier if you've walked through it to say, hey, don't do that. But sometimes if you're able to watch something somebody else has gone to and find that sympathy, you can use that to help fight this marginalization that we're talking about. You can use it to help kind of work out this issue of he's from there, he looks like this, his parents were this, he's gonna be that. So what can we do to not be the people that keep him marginalized and keep him in this specific lane of travel, but we can actually help him move to wherever he wants to be and whatever he wants to do.
Gentlemen, once again, thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and thank you for not only watching, but maybe being willing to get involved. Thank you for being for our city, for its people.